After 5 years of marriage, I was finally cured of my low sperm count. Just as I was about to share the good news with Victoria Sterling, I overheard her mother, Eleanor, ask her, "When are you planning to tell Sincere? You're going to start showing soon. You can't let the child's biological father remain nameless forever. Just a little longer. Give me some time, I'll handle it." I leaned against the doorway, silently clenching the sperm analysis report in my hand. When I first found out Victoria was seeing someone else, I wanted to tear the man apart. But after I calmed down, I had someone investigate him. Ethan Jones, a fresh-faced college kid, an intern at her company. 6 months ago, Victoria took her project team to Southport for negotiations. That's when they slept together. The private investigator told me it was a setup by a rival company. They had intended to take photos of Victoria with an escort, but unexpectedly, Ethan Jones solved that big problem for her. Victoria offered him a sum of money afterward, but he refused it. And then, in a dramatic twist, she discovered she was pregnant. Victoria and I had been trying for a child for years without success. My dear mother-in-law, Eleanor, couldn't possibly let the Sterling bloodline fall into outside hands, so she protected him. It all made sense now. For the past 6 months, Victoria had been incredibly busy, often rushing off to the office in the middle of dinner with me. She was even working overtime on our wedding anniversary. Thinking back, she probably wasn't working overtime but was at her other home. I was sitting at home when, as it happened, Victoria returned. "Hubby, I brought you pastries from Julian's." Victoria walked in carrying a food box containing Julian's famous egg yolk pastries. I glanced at it, then looked directly into her eyes. "Lily, there's something I want to discuss with you. What is it?" She sat beside me, wrapping her arm around my shoulders. Catching the faint scent on her, I curved my lips into a smile. "Let's get a divorce." Victoria immediately turned me to face her. "Has someone been whispering things in your ear?" "No, it's just that we've never had children, and I don't want the Sterling family line to end because of me, so—" "I'm not getting a divorce," Victoria flatly refused. "Sincere, it's you I love. I only want you a knot formed in my stomach." "Victoria, how can one person's heart hold so many people? But Mom has always wanted a grandchild. I've held you back for 5 years. I'll talk to Mom. You just focus on your health. It doesn't matter if we don't have children. At worst, we can adopt. I know there are girls who get pregnant out of wedlock and can't raise the child. Don't worry, I'll figure it out." After speaking, Victoria pinched my cheek. "Hubby, with or without children, I will always love you." I nestled into her arms, listening to her heartbeat, feeling no panic at all. Victoria was playing her cards well. She probably intended to bring that child into the Sterling family for me to raise. How ridiculous. It's not like I'm infertile. You forced my hand. I didn't bring up the child again, but I started paying attention to Ethan Jones. He was set up by Victoria in a villa in the southern part of the city, with a maid to look after him. He really had a strong desire to share, posting glimpses of the villa and various luxury goods on his social media. Wife is 4 months pregnant. A gift of gold jewelry from my mother-in-law. I told her not to, but she insisted. I had to accept. My mother-in-law is the best wife, says her whole family has been waiting for this child for 5 years. I'm their family's great hero, so excited to sunbathe with her, a family of 3. The latest update was a photo. He was sitting in a garden with his arm around a woman, one hand resting on her belly as they soaked up the sun. Only the woman's hand was in the shot, but I recognized it instantly. How bold of you, Victoria. You were so caught up with him that you forgot to take off your wedding ring. She must have been overjoyed, to the point of carelessness. That ring was custom made by me. I created an anonymous account and commented below his post. "Are you Mr. Sterling? I heard you were married for 5 years without children. Congratulations on finally getting your wish." When I refreshed the page, the post was gone. I put down my phone and smiled. So, you do know that a mistress is something to be hidden away. 2. This little episode didn't make Ethan Jones any more discreet. He added me on WhatsApp. When I saw the contact request, I clicked on his profile picture. It was a lazy cat, with the background being a room in the villa. Victoria disliked small animals. I once wanted to get a cat to keep me company, but she refused. She claimed to be allergic. But when it came to Ethan Jones, it seemed all her principles and boundaries could be broken. I accepted the request and a message immediately came through. Mr. Clark, I'm not here to break up your family. It's just that you couldn't get Victoria pregnant for 5 years. Now that she's finally conceived, a baby must be born. Life is precious. He couldn't wait to tell me Victoria was pregnant, phrasing it in such a sanctimonious way. I didn't reply, which made him anxious. Mr. Clark, everything I said is true by this point. I had already saved all his social media photos. I didn't miss a single clue. Only after doing all this did I reply, "What are you talking about? Victoria's pregnant? With your child?" The person on the other end seemed flustered, typing and deleting before finally sending, "Sorry, I thought you knew. You can drop the act. Having a baby is between you and Victoria. It has nothing to do with me." He didn't reply again, and I immediately had my lawyer draft the papers. During our marriage, Victoria and I were the model couple in our social circle. There were no innocent young women throwing themselves at me, nor were there wealthy heiresses trying to win me over. I thought I had married for love, but Victoria dealt me a heavy blow and created a life with someone else. My lawyer was my best friend, James Corbin. When he found out I wanted a divorce, he was stunned. "Sincere, have you been possessed or did you hit your head? She's seeing someone else, 4 months pregnant." Instantly, my friend exploded. "Where's my knife that Victoria is such an actress? I'll kill her." I quickly stopped him. "Forget it. She's just a rotten apple, not worth it. But as the party at fault, I want more money." James looked at me for a long moment, then put his arm around me. "Sincere, if you need to cry, just let it out. I'm here for you." I couldn't cry. I don't know why, but I felt a sharp pain in my heart, as if something had been ripped out by the roots, leaving a bloody hole. But when the pain is that extreme, you can't cry. "James, I want a divorce, and I want half her fortune." "All right, I'll help you." An hour later, I went home with the divorce agreement. When my parents, David and Mary Clark, learned that I was divorcing a pregnant Victoria, their faces turned grim. "Sincere, do whatever you feel you need to do. Mom and Dad will always have your back," my father said. "As for the child, that's your decision to make," my mother added. My fist slowly tightened. If Victoria hadn't hidden this from me, I would be sharing the joyous news that I could make her pregnant right now. My mind was made up. My parents respected my decision and let me handle the divorce myself, saying they would only step in if the Sterling family refused to cooperate. After leaving my parents' house, I went to the hospital to pick up my final test results. At the hospital, I saw Eleanor Sterling escorting Ethan Jones to a very important person ward. On some impulse, I followed them. "Ethan, I've already told you, you're in Victoria's heart. Why are you so insecure?" She's not telling him now just to keep him stable. "The Clark family still has business with us." The voices coming from the crack in the door disgusted me. I couldn't listen anymore and turned to leave. But at the end of the hallway, I ran into Victoria. The moment she saw me, she was clearly flustered. "Sincere, what are you doing here? Are you not feeling well?" Her expression changed so quickly. My eyes fell on the prenatal report in her hand. I remained silent. Victoria realized what I was looking at and hurriedly explained, "It's for a company employee. She fell today and almost had a miscarriage, so I brought her here for a checkup. What about you? Why are you here?" 3. Victoria didn't know that when she was flustered, her fingers would unconsciously fidget with the hem of her clothes. I gave a faint smile. "I'm here to visit a friend who's been hospitalized." The relief on her face was visible. "Where are you going?" "I'll give you a ride, no need, you must be busy. After all, she's an employee. We wouldn't want rumors spreading that the Sterling family mistreats its staff. If she miscarries, it would be our fault." Victoria froze. Before she could say anything, I had already left. Outside the hospital, I took a deep breath and went straight home. I packed all of Victoria's things and had them sent to that villa. This was my home ground. If anyone was leaving, it was Victoria. Sure enough, an hour later, Victoria returned and rushed to me. Sincere, I can explain. I put down my chicken soup and faced her. Victoria, do you know I gave you 3 chances? The first time was the day you came back from your business trip to Southport. There was a mark on your neck. I asked, and you said you were scratched by a stray cat. The second time I said I wanted a divorce because I didn't want the Sterling family line to end. You said you didn't care about children and wanted to spend the rest of your life with me. The third time was today. You said the prenatal report belonged to a company employee. I sighed. I'm not generous enough to watch my wife have another family on the side. Victoria Sterling, we're finished. No, Victoria was clearly panicking, clinging to me tightly. Sincere, I love you. He was just an accident. Mom has already agreed to keep the child and get rid of the father. Once the baby is born, I'll make him leave. I won't let him interfere with our lives. Trust me, my husband can only be you. I patted Victoria and struggled out of her embrace, then handed her a document. I don't trust you, unless you transfer all the assets under your name to me. I don't have a child, I only have you. But you have a home and a child with someone else. How can I possibly trust you? My preparedness left Victoria speechless. She glanced at the voluntary asset transfer agreement and explained in a hoarse voice. It might not be a good idea to move that much capital out of the company right now. Then we'll get a divorce. Victoria, I can't tolerate betrayal. You can't let go of me, and you can't let go of the money. You can't have it all. I took out the divorce agreement again. Without a second look, Victoria tore it to shreds. I agree, I'll give it all to you. She hugged me tightly. Sincere, I won't disappoint you. Once I have the baby, I'll end things with him, I sneered internally. End things? She was so naive. Ethan Jones came from a humble background. Victoria was the best he could ever get. How could he possibly end the relationship so easily? Ethan was willing to be the other man precisely because he wanted to latch on to Victoria. Victoria moved quickly. 3 days later, she had her lawyer transfer all her assets to me. She even gave me an extra 10% of her company shares. When Ethan Jones heard the news, he threw a fit. As soon as Victoria signed the papers, she was called away by a phone call. Sincere, there's an emergency at the office. I'll be back to spend time with you later. Go ahead, it's fine, I said magnanimously as I saw her out. The moment she left the company building, I followed her. When we arrived at a villa, I saw Victoria and Ethan Jones embracing. Lily, I'm scared. Are you going to leave me? Victoria patted his back, comforting him. Don't be scared. I won't leave you. Ethan, this is my first child, and you're his father. No one can separate us strangely, even though I thought I couldn't cry anymore. My heart ached unbearably upon hearing those words. Victoria, you can't be this greedy. Since you chose Ethan Jones, then we are truly finished. 4. I spent the night getting drunk with James. When I woke up the next day, there were dozens of missed calls and messages on my phone, all from Victoria. Sincere, where did you go? Why aren't you replying? Sincere, where are you? Say something, Sincere, what's wrong? I'm back home, waiting for you. I contacted James and had him revise the details of the divorce agreement. Then I sent Victoria a message. I'm out of town with my parents for a bit. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Victoria quickly replied, Okay, I'll wait for you, I scoffed. You won't be waiting for long. I dropped my luggage off at my parents' house and immediately listed my home with a real estate agent, selling it at a 20% discount. With such a big move, there was no way Victoria wouldn't find out, but she didn't dare to ask. By the time I had settled everything, it was Victoria's mother's birthday. Eleanor called me in advance, insisting I attend. I don't know what Victoria sees in you, she sneered over the phone. Insisting on marrying a man who can't have children. In the past, I would have swallowed her insults, but now that I was divorcing her daughter, why should I be polite? I snorted coldly. What can I say? Victoria just likes it. Maybe she just has cheap taste. What did you say? Eleanor's voice rose, and I hung up the phone. I knew she would complain to Victoria, but I was already done with Victoria. Why would I be afraid of her mother tattling? However, I would go to the birthday party. Not only would I go, but I would also deliver one final, crushing blow to the Sterling family. James had the new divorce agreement ready. Victoria, again, used work as an excuse, so I told her I would go on my own and not to worry. A moment later, I found traces of her on Ethan Jones's other social media account. This time, Ethan was bolder, even posting a profile shot of Victoria with the caption, "Finally," standing by her side. Tonight, as a member of her family so bold, I scoffed and took a screenshot. I compiled all the evidence. The money from the house sale also came through. Victoria, enjoy the party with your family. At 8 p.m., Victoria discovered I had blocked her. At the same time, I posted a public divorce announcement, stating that Victoria had been unfaithful. 5 years of marriage, thank you for the care. For the rest of our lives, let's never meet again. P.S. Selling my 20% stake in the company. Interested parties, please contact me. The internet exploded. A high society divorce battle. And without any prior announcement, I almost missed the juicy gossip. What's going on? They just divorced, just like that? Cheating after 5 years of marriage with no kids. It's normal for the woman to cheat, right? Get out of here. You can divorce if you can't have kids, but cheating during the marriage, getting pregnant by the other man, and then expecting the original husband to raise the kid? Would you be okay with that? I could tell that last comment was from James. He was furious and was online helping me condemn the scumbag woman. My comment section was then flooded by users. 20 of the shares. I can't imagine how rich you're going to be. Most high society marriages are loveless anyway. It's just a marriage of convenience. Why take it so seriously? If you agreed to it in the first place, it means you accepted that you could both do your own thing. Now you want true love? What are you talking about? They were in love. Have you forgotten how sweet they used to be? Victoria once booked all the LED billboards in the city for a public declaration of love. Do you all have amnesia? Let me see what this other man looks like. 5. Someone followed the breadcrumbs and found Ethan Jones's social media account. He was at the Sterling family home and had no time to delete anything, so he was caught red-handed. Someone called him the other man last time, but the post was quickly deleted. I can't believe it's true, so arrogant, knowingly becoming the other man. This guy has that innocent college boy. Look, he can't compare to the original husband at all. As the saying goes, the grass is always greener on the other side. After getting used to a queen, a simple wildflower offers a different flavor. I was undoubtedly the top trending topic. I had ruined Eleanor's birthday party. By the time Victoria returned, she found the villa empty. She tried to break down the door, but the house had a new owner. When she started damaging the door, the new owner called the police and had her taken away. I even sent a reporter to follow along. That night, the news of Victoria being taken away by the police spread across the internet again. The Sterling family issued an emergency statement, claiming that we had been separated for a long time. I laughed. Luckily, I still had the security footage from the villa. I released the video, exposing their lies. Eleanor called me. "Sincere, are you trying to destroy the Sterling family? All Victoria wanted was a child. What did she do that was so wrong?" I looked at the supplementary information the private investigator had sent me and said calmly, "So, you set her up?" How did you know?" The Southport project was a deal they were begging the Sterling family for. Why would they get Victoria drunk? Your hands aren't very clean and you didn't tie up the loose ends. Eleanor was speechless. I hung up and blocked her number. She used a different number to call and curse me out. I posted a screenshot of that too with a message for Victoria. Remember, It was your own mother who destroyed my home. I knew Victoria would investigate. If we provided even a small clue, with her abilities, she wouldn't miss it. The Sterling family was once again swarmed by netizens. Mrs. Sterling attends so many charity galas and always looks so kind and gentle. How can she speak so cruelly? Her face reveals her character. You can tell from those cold eyes she's not a good person. I already experienced it back in college. Victoria was starting to like a younger student from the business school, and Mrs. Sterling sent people to warn him off, even mocking him for being a small-town nerd. The rich are so arrogant, just a rotten apple, acting like she's such a great catch. Victoria and her mother became the target of public criticism, bombarded by netizens. Her mother was forced to turn off her phone, and Victoria was completely overwhelmed. Her reputation collapsed. The company's stock plummeted, and I sold my shares to the second largest shareholder. Victoria completely broke down. After I released the divorce announcement, I sent my parents on a trip abroad. I stayed home to rest, leaving all divorce matters to my lawyer. Victoria tried to find me, but I refused to see her unless it was to finalize the divorce. A week later, James contacted me saying Victoria wanted to talk about the divorce settlement. I readily agreed, got ready, and went to the law firm. When I arrived, Victoria was there. It had only been a few days, but she looked haggard. The exhaustion was plain to see, with dark circles under her eyes, sincere. Her voice was hoarse when she spoke. It sounded like she had been talking a lot these past few days, leaving her with little energy. She sighed. I never thought you would plot against me to this extent. She had already had her lawyer transfer all her assets to me. Now with the company's stock price down, she couldn't possibly come up with that much money. 6. She was being pushed to the brink by the shareholders. I smirked. This is the price for betraying our marriage. Victoria, I gave you 3 chances and you didn't take any of them, so you shouldn't be here complaining to me today. If there are no issues with the agreement, just sign it. I had made adjustments. She was the party at fault, and I had made such a huge scene precisely to make her leave with nothing. Victoria never imagined my hatred for her ran this deep. After taking all her assets, I wouldn't even leave her with the final bit of money. I was taking the cars, the jewelry, and I had even made a list of the antiques and famous paintings. When Victoria saw the agreement, she suddenly burst out laughing, then snatched it and tore it to pieces. Sincere, you're trying to drive me into a corner. What good does this do you? I shrugged. Plenty of good. I get to be a wealthy man and live well. Besides, I paused for a few seconds. I can't swallow this insult. Her head snapped up to look at me. What did you say? My low sperm count was cured. That day, I was planning to tell you. But then I overheard what your mother said to you. You said, give me some time, I'll handle it. Hearing this, Victoria's whole body trembled. She stared at me in utter disbelief. It took her a long time to recover, and I just stared back at her. Victoria, the moment you said those words, there was no possibility for us anymore. I glanced at her. She had visibly lost a lot of weight recently. The company must be giving her a hard time. Ethan Jones, too. I had people keeping an eye on him. He had a meltdown after being attacked by netizens, but the Sterling family still hadn't given up on him. Since that was the case, there was nothing more for me to say. I just wanted them to divide the assets quickly so I wouldn't have to deal with these people anymore. With trembling hands, Victoria wiped her face, her eyes bloodshot as she asked, "Why didn't you tell me?" "If you had told me, I absolutely wouldn't have kept this child. I would only have had your child." I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. "Victoria, you're disgusting. How could you say something like that? How could you bear to hold me and lie to me while cuddling with that man? You are not worthy of being the mother of my child." I handed her Ethan Jones's chat logs. "Look, he's so smug, all because you're carrying his child seeing those records." Victoria broke down. She never imagined that I had known about her affair all along, step by step, luring her into my trap. I wanted to exploit her last shred of guilt to leave her penniless. I took the opportunity to present another copy of the divorce agreement. "I have many copies. Sign it. Let's both be civil about this. Victoria, from now on we'll go our separate ways. No, Sincere, I know I was wrong. But do I have a chance to turn back? I shook my head. No, your whole family lied to me. I will never trust you again. Let's part on good terms. Otherwise it will get much uglier when I sue, and you know my temper. Victoria knew I was as stubborn as a mule. Back in school I was in a relationship. When I found out the girl cheated on me, I broke up with her immediately. When she kept pestering me, I had someone beat her up. After that, she never dared to approach me again. It was the same with Victoria. While we were dating, I told her that if she was ever unfaithful, I would be done with her for good. 7. Victoria knew my temper, which is why she never dared to bring Ethan Jones before me. Now that I knew, she had no reason to hold on to any hope. All my actions now showed that my hatred for her outweighed my love. Victoria didn't want to say any more, sighing, I can't. If I give you everything, the Sterling family is finished, the company is finished. I can't let my family's business be ruined in my hands. Then I'll sue. I glanced at James, and he nodded. There was no point in wasting any more words with her. I stood up to leave, but Victoria, not giving up, grabbed my hand. Sincere, are there no feelings left between us at all? I forcefully pulled my hand back, just staring at her without a word. Victoria understood everything. There was no longer a chance for us. I turned and walked away. According to James, after I left, Victoria stood there for a long time before collapsing to the ground, wailing loudly. If she'd known it would come to this, she wouldn't have started it. Sincere, whatever you do, don't go soft on her, James warned me later. Don't worry, I won't. I've never been as calm as I am today. A week later, my parents returned. Hearing that I was going to sue, they couldn't help but sigh. Victoria had a good thing and just had to ruin it. Now the whole city is talking about it online. What a fool, Dad. Mom, don't worry, I'm absolutely not going back. She wronged me, and I don't want a rotten apple. I'll just treat it all as a bad dream. I'm sorry you got dragged into this. With things having reached this point, our family's past was also being dug up by netizens. I don't know if it was a response from the Sterling family, but they started to hire online trolls to slander us. But they had no proof. The more dirt they threw, the more evidence I released. Eventually, the Sterling family didn't dare to make any more rash moves. My mom hugged me, her heart aching. I'm not blaming you, sweetheart. I just feel that her family doesn't know how to cherish you. After all you've done, it still has to come to a lawsuit. I knew my mom was just worried about me. But regarding the lawsuit, I took the initiative, going public online once again to inform everyone of my intentions. Victoria was pushed even further toward a breakdown. A scumbag woman who finds another man but refuses to divorce, who wants to have her cake and eat it too, could no longer hold her head high. Finally, Victoria couldn't take it anymore. Sincere, I agree. Let's get a divorce. On the day we got the divorce certificate, Eleanor came along. Sincere, you are truly ruthless. All of our Sterling family's money is now yours. After being husband and wife, how can you treat her like this? Don't you feel any guilt at all? Before I could speak, Victoria stopped her. Mom, don't say any more. I did it all willingly. Victoria shielded me from her mother's tirade. I smirked and leaned closer to Eleanor. When you plotted against your own daughter, putting her through hell and causing her to betray her marriage and her husband, did you ever think that this would be your karma? Her face turned red. I turned to leave. Victoria wanted to say something more, but her mother gripped her arm tightly. Don't go after him now that you've divorced that man. You need to marry Ethan immediately. Just stay out of my business. Victoria angrily shook her off. I didn't care to know what they argued about after that. In any case, it had nothing to do with me anymore. However, I didn't expect Victoria to be able to get back on her feet. 8. My former mother-in-law sold their old family mansion, quickly liquidating a large sum of money. She then sold off her jewelry to help Victoria get through the crisis. But the damage was done. The Sterling family was severely weakened and in decline, unable to keep up. Victoria and Ethan Jones did end up together, but they never got married. Ethan had, in a sense, made it official. He continued to share his daily life on social media. I glanced at his posts. He seemed to be in good spirits. 2 months later, I attended a banquet with my father. Coincidentally, Victoria was there too with Ethan Jones. Though it had only been 2 months, I was still glowing, while she looked like a different person, increasingly quiet and cold. When Ethan, standing next to her, saw me, a flash of venomous hatred crossed his eyes. In a secluded corner, he approached me. Well played, sincere. I thought you two had true love, but I never expected you to trick me so badly. You took all her money, and now my life is much worse than before. You're a cold-hearted man. Victoria was completely fooled by you. I hear you've been seeing a lot of models since the divorce. I glanced at him. This is the price she pays for betraying her marriage, isn't it? But I have you to thank for getting so much. Every photo you posted was just more evidence of her affair for me. He was furious. Well, I'm the man by her side, now are you? You'd better hold on tight to that position. After all, if Victoria can find you to have a baby, she can find someone else too. If she could cheat once, she could do it a second and a third time. Ethan froze, then shot me a fierce glare and raised his hand to hit me. I grabbed him by the throat. You'd better not try anything with me. The ruthlessness in my eyes scared him. I shoved him aside. Just then, Victoria walked over. What's wrong? Ethan looked on the verge of tears. Lily, it's not his fault. I couldn't help but come over and say hello. I sneered. Miss Sterling, under these circumstances, you shouldn't be parading your mistress around. And you certainly shouldn't let him provoke me so openly. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what I might do. I looked Victoria's belly up and down. Victoria immediately turned to him. What nonsense are you talking about? Lily, I just wanted to apologize to him. I coolly took out my phone and played the recording. Hearing the sound, his face turned pale. Don't pull these kinds of tricks on me in the future. It's disgusting. Victoria, your taste in men is really something. With that, I turned and left. Victoria's face was extremely ugly. I didn't see Ethan Jones at the event again. I heard Victoria sent him away. Meanwhile, I exchanged pleasantries with my father and other guests. People kept approaching me. Divorced and now in possession of Victoria's entire fortune, I had joined the ranks of the wealthy. Some nosy people privately asked how much compensation I received. I just smiled without answering. It was money I deserved. As for the future, with all these innocent college girls available, why would I want these older women? On the way back, my dad remarked, I never thought your divorce would make you so popular. Do you know how many people were asking me about you tonight? Dad, your son doesn't have to worry about finding a wife. But these people don't have good intentions. They're all after my money. I'm not interested. My dad knew, of course. All right. If you meet someone suitable, you can decide for yourself. I nodded. Just as I was about to speak, I saw Victoria. She was standing in front of my building, looking as if she had been waiting for a long time. 9. After I got out of the car, my dad looked at her and said gravely, You two talk, I'm going inside. Soon it was just the two of us outside. Victoria broke the silence. Sincere, I know you're not like that. Ethan. He's just insecure and emotionally unstable. I'm sorry, but is there still a chance for me? Even now, she still wanted to get back together with me. We've reached the end of the road. You know I never go back to an old flame. Her mouth opened, and she looked at me with a sorrowful expression. 5 years of feeling sincere. You're stronger than I thought. Is there really no chance for me? I want to make it up to you, can I? And what about Ethan Jones? After the baby is born, I'll send him away, I scoffed. Victoria, do you think I'm not disgusted enough already? I have no choice, my mom. Since you're willing to listen to your mother, and you know she set you up, why are you still doing this? Victoria lowered her head. But she's my mother. I can't do anything about it. Then you should just live a good life with him and stop bothering me. I never give a second chance to someone who betrays our marriage, our family, and our love. Leave and never come looking for me again. Hearing me say this, Victoria stood there stunned. She didn't expect me to be so cold and unreasonable. The fact that I was even standing here talking to her was the last shred of civility I could offer. She probably didn't understand how I felt and was about to pester me again. I turned my head and shouted sharply, "Stay where you are, Victoria. Don't force me to get rough with you again. The Sterling family business wasn't without its shady dealings over the years. I happened to know a little, but I didn't want to be completely ruthless." She stumbled back 2 steps and gave a bitter smile. "I knew you wouldn't forgive me. You hate me. You hate me for my betrayal. I'm sorry, sincere." I shook my head. "I don't hate you, and I don't love you anymore either. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. I plan to forget her." Victoria's face turned deathly pale. We had been together for 5 years, dating for a year before getting engaged and married. We were once the model couple in our circle. Victoria had doted on me, loved me to the bone, but she still betrayed me. There's no need to dwell on the past. The biggest lesson I learned from this marriage is not to waste energy on pointless emotions. What's lost is lost. After that, I didn't deliberately follow her news. About half a month later, James told me Victoria had a miscarriage. I was shocked to hear the news. "What did you say?" "Ethan Jones failed to pressure her into marriage and threatened to kill himself. Things got out of hand and he and Victoria tumbled down the stairs together. She miscarried. With that, her last hope was gone. He's truly useless to her now." Victoria had been keeping him around because of the child in her belly. Now that the child was gone, there was no reason to keep Ethan Jones around. I treated it as a joke, but I didn't expect Ethan to be more cunning than I thought. He managed to get back into Victoria's bed again. Only this time his luck ran out. Victoria had him thrown in jail for 2 days. The next time I saw them was 3 months later. Victoria and Ethan were arguing on the street, and another woman was clinging to Ethan, refusing to let go. A love triangle? From their argument, I gathered that Ethan had another woman on the side. Victoria had been supporting him, and he had been using her money to support someone else. After Victoria kicked him out, the other woman started pestering him for money, threatening to expose him. Ethan was at his wit's end. Now, seeing Victoria, he was clinging to his last hope. The 3 of them entangled on the street, becoming a laughingstock. Seeing this melodramatic scene, I couldn't help but smile. It seemed even fate didn't want me to be deceived. Victoria had been punished for betraying our marriage. Now that we were divorced, we had nothing to do with each other. When the farce ended, she turned her head and met my gaze. Her mouth opened, but in the end she said nothing and walked away looking defeated. From across the street corner, I watched her cover her face and sob. There are no do-overs in life, and I will never look back.